In the Colosseum of modern football, the line between hero and villain has never been thinner. We no longer just watch matches. We dissect them in real time on a global stage where a single mistake, a hot-headed reaction, or a tone-deaf comment can turn a superstar into public enemy number one in a matter of seconds. Today, the internet doesn't just judge football players, it prosecutes them. Welcome to the era of the digital football villain, where the court of public opinion never adjourns and the backlash is relentless. We are going to take a deep look at 7 footballers who have found themselves at the center of the internet's absolute wrath recently, breaking down the highly controversial reasons why. Before we dive into these incredible stories, do me a quick favor. If you love deep, unfiltered football documentaries, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications. It helps the channel grow immensely, and I want to make sure you never miss our upcoming releases. Also, let me know in the comments below which country or city you are watching from today. I love seeing how far this incredible football community reaches. Now, let's get straight into it. We have to start with Enzo Fernandez, because no player in recent memory has managed to stack major controversy on top of major controversy quite like the Chelsea midfielder. The storm began at the conclusion of the 2024 Copa America. Amid the euphoria of Argentina's victory, Fernandez started a live stream from the team bus, capturing the squad singing a highly offensive chant aimed at the French national team and their African heritage. The backlash was instantaneous and severe. His Chelsea teammate, Wesley Fofana, publicly condemned the video on social media, unfollowing him immediately and exposing a massive rift within the Chelsea dressing room. Though Fernandez issued a public apology and made a significant donation to an anti-discrimination charity, the damage to his reputation was done, but his controversial year was far from over. During the subsequent World Cup tournament, Argentina met England in an incredibly tense and ill-tempered semi-final. Fernandez scored a vital equalizer in a match Argentina eventually won 2-1, but the real trouble started after the final whistle. The Argentine players celebrated by parading a highly political banner referencing the Falklands dispute, reigniting a decades-old geopolitical conflict and prompting the UK government to formally demand a FIFA investigation. When journalists later asked Fernandez if he harbored any genuine hatred toward England, his attempt to defuse the situation completely backfired. He tried to show goodwill by explaining that he couldn't possibly hate the English because the people who clean and help around his London home are English. The internet exploded. Critics ruthlessly mocked him, pointing out the incredible tone deafness of using his domestic staff to prove he wasn't prejudiced. To top off a chaotic tournament, Fernandez was sent off after picking up a second yellow card in the World Cup final itself. If you look at his recent matches for Chelsea under Enzo Maresca, the pressure is clearly taking a toll. While Maresca has tried to show public support by handing him the captain's armband in several fixtures, away fans have been relentless in their jeering, and a vocal section of the Chelsea fanbase has openly questioned whether the club should cash in on him. Speaking of that chaotic World Cup final whistle, nobody embodied the post-match madness quite like Leandro Paredes. When Argentina's run ended in a bitter defeat to Spain, the football world expected a showcase of mutual respect. Instead, the final whistle triggered an absolute brawl. Television cameras quickly focused on Paredes, who was seen squaring up to Eric Garcia, grabbing him by the throat, and then violently wrestling Barcelona's teenage prodigy Gavi to the turf. The scenes were so hostile that even Argentina manager Lionel Scaloni had to sprint onto the pitch to physically restrain his own player, but the damage was done. Paredes was shown a red card after the match had already concluded. Former England goalkeeper Joe Hart spoke for millions of fans when he labeled the incident as completely disgusting behavior. This wasn't a tactical foul in the heat of a game. This was a player letting his personal frustrations boil over into physical violence after the contest was decided. FIFA has launched a massive investigation, and with Paredes already holding a reputation as a serial instigator, he and the Argentine Federation are currently facing the prospect of massive multi-match bans that could heavily disrupt his availability for his club, Roma, and his national team in the upcoming international break. From one Argentine drama, we shift to a completely different type of controversy involving Alejandro Garnacho. The young winger has managed the rare and unfortunate feat of wearing out his welcome at 2 massive clubs in less than a year. At Manchester United, his relationship with new manager Ruben Amorim reportedly deteriorated rapidly. After being left out of the squad for the 2025 Europa League final and forced to train away from the first team due to attitude concerns, Garnacho forced through a massive £40 million transfer to Chelsea. The exit left a bitter taste in Manchester, with club legend Nicky Butt publicly branding Garnacho's attitude an absolute disgrace, claiming the young player had acquired superstar status far too quickly without putting in the hard work to back it up. But London hasn't provided the sanctuary Garnacho was hoping for. Reports have already surfaced suggesting that Chelsea insiders are incredibly frustrated with his integration, with some suggesting the club is already open to selling him after barely a season. The rivalry between his past and present came to a head when Manchester United defeated Chelsea 1-0 in a crucial Premier League match. After the game, Luke Shaw posted a photo of himself shoving Garnacho to the ground, accompanied by a caption that made it clear there was no love lost. The post was liked by almost the entire Manchester United squad, hinting at just how unpopular Garnacho had become in the Old Trafford dressing room. While his raw talent is undeniable, the football world is increasingly viewing him as a player who brings far more dressing room drama than on-field production. Now, Alexander Sørloth's story is a brutal reminder of how quickly fan adulation can turn into absolute hatred over a single, split-second decision on the pitch. During Norway's high-stakes World Cup quarter-final against England in Miami, Norway was leading 1-0. Martin Ødegaard played a sublime defense-splitting pass to unleash a textbook 2-on-1 counterattack. Sørloth carried the ball forward with Erling Haaland running completely unmarked parallel to him, waiting for the simple square pass for an easy tap-in. Instead of passing, Sørloth hesitated, took an extra touch, and opted to shoot himself. The shot was blocked. A furious Haaland threw his hands up in complete disbelief, and England went on to launch a dramatic comeback, winning 2-1 thanks to a brilliant brace from Jude Bellingham. Sørloth was incredibly honest after the game, admitting that his instinct was to pass to Haaland, but he felt the passing lane was closed and decided to take the responsibility himself. The internet, however, showed zero mercy. He was immediately accused of selfishness, ego, and harboring a secret jealousy of Haaland's global superstar status. The online abuse quickly escalated, with the striker reportedly receiving thousands of hostile messages and even death threats from angry fans. Despite his solid recent performances for Atletico Madrid under Diego Simeone, where he has shown his quality as a reliable target man, that single missed pass in Miami continues to haunt his career, proving that in the digital age, a single error can define a player's entire narrative. Next, we look at Federico Valverde, a player who has spent years being praised as the ultimate professional, humble, hardworking, and a beloved leader for Real Madrid. But that pristine image took a major hit following a series of shocking training ground incidents. Rumors of tension within the Madrid camp turned into concrete reality when reports emerged of back-to-back physical altercations between Valverde and his midfield partner, Aurelien Tchouameni. The second clash was so severe that Valverde reportedly required stitches for a facial laceration and was briefly escorted to the hospital in a wheelchair. Real Madrid took swift internal action, fining both players a massive €500,000. Valverde tried to downplay the incident, claiming there was no physical fight and that his injuries were merely the result of an accidental collision with a table brought on by physical fatigue. However, the timing couldn't have been worse. These internal issues coincided with reports of tactical disagreements with manager Xabi Alonso, and things went from bad to worse when Uruguay suffered a shock group stage exit at the World Cup. For a player who was recently handed the captain's armband, the optics of training ground brawls and international failure have completely shifted how the public views his leadership. Even though his recent performances in La Liga have been characteristically energetic, the cracks in his armor have been exposed. Then we have Matias Galarza, and his entry on this list is representative of a team that decided to completely abandon the spirit of fair play. When Paraguay faced France in the round of 16, they deployed some of the most extreme defensive and time-wasting tactics ever seen in modern football. Reports after the match revealed that Paraguay averaged an astonishing 62 seconds per goal kick compared to France's 5. Galarza was at the absolute center of this physical and psychological warfare. During a heated moment, Galarza appeared to strike Kylian Mbappé with a clenched fist away from the ball, an incident that somehow went unpunished by both the on-field referee and VAR. Later in the match, when France was awarded a crucial penalty, Galarza walked over and actively scuffed up the penalty spot to disadvantage Mbappé, leading to a physical confrontation with Ousmane Dembélé. Ironically, not a single Paraguay player was booked for these antics. What made Galarza a viral sensation, however, was an incident days earlier when he picked up a referee's dropped watch during a scuffle and casually tried it on his own wrist before returning it. While that moment was viewed as a bit of lighthearted comedy, his performance against France cemented his status as the chief villain of a team that fans felt came to disrupt the game rather than play it. Finally, we look at Simon Adingra, whose inclusion is perhaps the most tragic because his villain status is born out of misfortune rather than malice. In the dying moments of Ivory Coast's crucial group stage match against Germany, Nicola Pepe produced a magnificent run and squared the ball directly across the face of an open goal. All Adingra had to do was make clean contact to secure a historic result. Instead, the young winger hesitated, got his feet tangled, and awkwardly knocked the ball out for a goal kick. Germany immediately launched a counterattack, and Deniz Undav scored the winning goal to seal a 2-1 victory for the Germans. That single frame of Adingra's miss was replayed millions of times across social media, turning him into the scapegoat for an entire nation's tournament exit. Despite his fantastic form for Brighton in the Premier League, where he continues to prove he is one of the brightest young talents in Europe, that single moment of hesitation on the international stage shows how cruel football can be. Some players earn their villain status through behavior, while others are simply victims of the brutal, fast-paced nature of modern fan culture. What do you think of these players? Did the internet get it right, or has the criticism gone way too far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.